Welcome to the Sexy Freedom Media Podcast, a place to discuss pain, passion, and pursuits.
I want to feel alive.
Breathe.
Make some moves.
Protect the throne. This is Sexy Freedom Media Podcast.
Welcome to the Sexy Freedom Media Podcast. It's your host, Helen Edwards, and
January Liddell. Aloha.
this is part 2 of our beauty and fashion struggles and fumbles. So welcome back. If you haven't checked out our part 1, it's already up. It's available on YouTube and all our audio platforms. So check it out. But before we get started, I do want to give a quick shout out to my Indigenous sister, Cassandra Stouter, who is Dene and Seminole Indigenous Wellness Specialist. She's offering different modalities, different wellness programs. She's in the Arizona area, specifically Prescott, Arizona. So I will leave her link in the show notes or leave her email in the show notes if anybody wants to reach out to her and get more services from her that has to do with yoga, deep tissue massage, blending movements, breath, and culture storytelling for the mind and body rejuvenation. What's up, January?
Man, makes me want to go there and check it out, but I'm not in Arizona. So if you are in Arizona, please go for me. We had a great conversation yesterday. I didn't want it to end, so I'm so happy we're doing part 2. Where did we leave off of on our conversation? We were so excited. We were fired up.
Yeah, so yesterday we were just diving into the industries, the fashion industry, the beauty industry. And this morning I posted in our Sexy, Successful, and Soul-Fed Facebook group asking our members what mishaps they have with it, what struggles they also have with it. And we actually got, we'll choose one specifically who had some great feedback for us. Do you want to share that?
Yes, I do. Aloha Esperanza. Thank you so much for posting and sharing your insight. So I liked what you had to say. You were talking about plus sizes for clothing lines for plus size women, and how you are definitely happy that it's getting better, and you will give credit where credit is due. So thank you. That is promising because they are doing something about it. I do love Torrid. Torrid, I believe, is for plus size women. However, you also think that it could be better. Let's see, I do not think it is where it is definitely at. So it's not there just yet, but there are definitely more improvements. I liked what you had to say about the brand names and how you would buy something, at I'm not going to say the stores, but you're going to buy, these high-end products, and it could cost $38. So like a primer, some kind of a primer, a name brand primer is $38, but a no name brand primer is $8. And I think it's great because Helen and I are all about finance, and so to be able to save money any place is awesome. I'm just like Helen, and I think Helen and I are aligned with this. I'm really not about like the brand names. For me, it's like functionality, and if it works, awesome. Doesn't really matter about the brand. But for some women, brand names are important. It's something that identifies them, and to each their own, right? But I'm with you, Esperanza. I love saving money. So thank you for that tip.
That is so awesome. I wanted to share a fun fact about the first cosmetics. They actually appeared 5,000 years ago in Egypt. And I also wanted to share, because I love history, and I know I mentioned it in our last podcast episode, part 1, just maybe what the history was. Well, I was a little bit off. So it turns out in ancient Rome and Egypt, clothing was used strictly as a status symbol. In 1890, the French started the iconic fashion trend of haute couture. Many women began wearing an androgynous flapper style clothing in the 1920s. So French fashion designer Dior became highly popular in the 1950s.
Oh my gosh, just the idea of Egyptians. I mean, you remember if you've seen like pictures or their hieroglyphics, their eyes were like very like prominent, right? At least that's what it seems like in the I don't know if they're hieroglyphics, but the images for Egypt. I can see that. I can see beauty starting at, back in Egypt. And I think beauty also evolved from plants, right? So they would grind up like certain plants in order to create the color, and then they would put that on their, on their skin. Definitely happy that we can just go to a store and buy our products instead of having to grind them up. Although there are cleaner products, right? We at least know that, hey, these are from plants. Nowadays, I got this. So I got this oil brand, right? It's a lip oil. I don't know if you know, but so I got this lip oil and I'm like, oh, this is cool because you can use it as a lip gloss, but you can also use it as a blush. So it's like a two or three in one type of product. But the warning says if you develop a rash, and I'm like, oh no. And it's so crazy how for us women, we will try these different products, knowing full well that it may not be plant-based, it may not be vegan, but we will try it because of, for the sake of beauty, right? And so I did. I put it on. I'm like, okay, let's just cross fingers and pray that I don't get a rash because a lot of it is all chemical based, yeah.
It's funny that you said what we'll do to, have that beautiful look. It goes for me in heels. We talked about that yesterday also. I love wearing heels because it makes me feel sexy, it makes me feel confident. But last year, I went to an adult prom here in Casper, Wyoming, and I wore these really awesome heels, actually the ones that you got me for my bachelorette party. So these heels are really high. The heel part is high, but they're so blinged out. I mean, they're so beautiful, blinged out rhinestones. I was just like, yes, I'm wearing them. Well, what I didn't take into consideration is how long I was going to be wearing them. And let me just say, they cut up the back of my heels so bad, but I was still like, I want to feel good and look good. So I literally was trying to ignore the pain. And I don't know if you've ever done that where something's hurting, but you're trying to ignore the pain because you're trying to put in your mind, maybe have fun. This is such a great experience. I'm not going to miss out just because my feet hurt. And you're trying to go as long as you can. Finally, you throw in the towel and you sit down and you're like, oh my gosh, I've just basically killed my feet. And that's what happened to me. So now I'm looking at little things I can do, maybe something to tape on the back end because I love those heels. I don't have a problem walking in heels. I have a problem with the design sometimes in like that, like the back cuts me, or wearing the shoe for way too long when I haven't wore heels in months or weeks. And then you're like, oh, I'm just going to wear these out. Okay, note to self, always bring a pair of flats with you wherever you go if you decide to wear heels.
Oh, that's a great tip. And yes, I have done a lot of what you were saying for the sake of beauty and just feeling the pain because, so for example, I have these Spanx. I have Spanx or like, like no name brand Spanx. Girdles, are they called girdles? I think they're called girdles. Anyway, I love using them because it just slims me out. But I know when I put them on, I'm like, and I can't breathe, and I'm like, oh my gosh, but it's all for the sake of beauty and keeping it tight and keeping it in there. It feels good to have it in there. It looks nice, but then, at a certain time when you're like eating or you're like, it's like, okay, I need to take, and then once I take it off, I'm like, then I can breathe again. I think us women tend to do it just for the sake of beauty because it makes us feel good.
Or look good, or both. So let me ask you this. If you had to choose 5 beauty and fashion modalities and you were stuck on an island, I love this. I love the whole stuck on an island test. Okay, so to our audience and January, if you're stuck on an island and you only get to bring 5 beauty and fashion modalities with you or beauty and fashion materials with you, what would those be?
So first of all, I am on an island. Not quite
Girl,
stuck.
stop. Okay, an island with like hardly anybody on there.
I gotcha. Okay, so the 5 things I'll bring, I love this question, by the way. 5 beauty things that I'll bring are, I have to bring, um, my moisturizer. That's probably the one thing, is the moisturizer. Sunblock for sure, because I'm on an island, right? So I gotta protect my skin. Let's see. I would have to, so in Hawaii, it's called a sarong. And a sarong is like a pareo. It's a sarong pareo. It's basically a sheet. It's like a fabric that you can use multiple times, and you can make it into a shirt, you can make it into a dress, you can like use it as a blanket. So I would definitely bring that. So that's number 3. I'm trying to think what else would I have to, and a nail cutter. Okay, look. When my nails get extra long, I get a little irritated when they're long, because then I don't know, I just don't like it when they're long. So definitely a nail cutter. And then I mean, does water count? Is water like a beauty thing? Oh, then definitely need my water bottle. I mean, I cannot go anywhere without my water bottle. Okay, so water bottle for me. So yeah, those are the 5 that I could think of. What are your 5?
That is actually hilarious. I would have never thought about the nail cutter. Oh my gosh. My first thought was I would have to bring my husband to give me massages because I love massages. I don't get them as often as I want, but as far as beauty and fashion goes, I would say more on the holistic side or healthy side. The massages make me feel really beautiful after I get them done. It makes me feel peaceful, and my skin feels way more vibrant and alive. So definitely my husband for massages. I'd probably, if I got stuck on an island with him, I'd probably be the one doing the massages though. Okay, so massages. 2, I think shampoo, because I have a really hard time going days. I know that some people say, don't wash your hair, but like once a week or whatnot. I don't mind, but if I go 2 weeks or if I'm in a grungy area or camping, I can't wait to wash my hair. And there's nothing better than feeling those suds in the hair and massaging it. And it feels and smells so good after. So, yeah, that would be my number 2. I like that you said the sarong. I think I've had one of those. They're so light and they feel airy and oh my gosh. So I would have never thought about that. What I was actually thinking about is a really comfortable swimsuit and something that kind of I like two-piece swimsuits, even though I don't necessarily feel like a model in it. It makes me feel really sexy wearing a two-piece and I feel really free, and I love the way they accentuate the body. So I would definitely have to bring a two-piece bathing suit. Oh my gosh, this is harder than I thought. Oh, I can imagine what our listeners are like. What would I do? So let's see, beauty and fashion. Ooh, okay. Definitely lipstick, red lipstick. I mentioned in part 1, red lipstick just makes me feel so good. But my red lipstick would definitely have to have some sort of like sun care in it for my lips because I'm very sensitive to the sun. So can I make that a package deal and do a whole lipstick and sunscreen,
Right? That's
moisturize?
exactly what I was
Like it's a
thinking.
package, okay?
Like, I can't just do 5. I need, like, a whole much, like, a
Yeah,
whole unit of things. Okay.
totally, totally. And then I'd probably say coconut water because coconut water in a coconut. Since I'm on an island and this is my dream, I want a coconut. I want coconut milk in a coconut with a really nice straw and an umbrella, because then I'd really feel good laying on the beach, chilling, drinking my coconut water. And that's hydrating. It's going to make your skin nice, hair, skin, nails, I think. Uh, but right?
Girl, when you come here to Hawaii, we'll go get you that coconut, okay? Because there is a coconut with water in it and a nice little straw, probably a lemon.
Really? Oh, I've never been to Hawaii. That's definitely on my bucket list.
Yes. So I love that you said that you're gonna bring your husband. I'm like, I want to bring my husband. Okay, so he's my 6. So I'll bring my husband. Um, but yeah, as far as beauty and fashion, I think the reason I didn't say a swimsuit, because I'm like, if I'm alone on my island, then I'm just gonna swim naked. I'll just be like swimming. Um, and then what was the other thing you said? Oh, lipstick. I love that you said lipstick. So that lipstick probably has the sun care and like it's like a lip balm and a lip gloss all in one. So yes, because lipstick just it makes me feel good. I wore a lip gloss today and I like lip glosses. There are times, that I like wearing the bright red. You've seen me with a bright red. My teeth look so white when I put that on. But there are moments where I'm like, I'm just gonna go au natural and just be whatever. And I love that option. I love as women, we have so many different options. And I know we were talking about it yesterday, how it can be overwhelming. Once you find your tools, once you find what works for you, then those are my go-to. Like, this is it, girls. Look, this is it. This is my little bag of tricks right here, my little makeup bag. All I need.
Okay, so speaking of our struggles, I love that you showed your bag, by the way. That's really cool. What I was thinking about as far as struggles go too is we have this thing as women, especially that we compare ourselves to other women, especially on social media. But we look at what they're wearing. In fact, there's this saying that when you're with your man and you see a beautiful woman walk by, it's usually you're the first to look. And your man might look too, or maybe not, but you think he is, but really it's because you're looking. And we're comparing ourselves and maybe subconsciously too. And it doesn't mean we're comparing ourselves in a bad way all the time. It just means we're checking her out because we're looking at everything she adorned herself with. And there's nothing wrong with that. And it doesn't mean there's an attraction. It just means we are observing another human being, a beautiful human being sometimes, not always, but God didn't make anything ugly. I'm just saying. So I think that comparison can become a struggle when we're looking at them and saying, oh my gosh, I wish I could wear that. I wish I can look like that. I wish my hair color was that color. And I think for me, I do find myself, I do find myself sometimes getting in those mindsets. And I'll be vulnerable. Like I see women my age and they're just free and they're wearing whatever they want, at appropriate times. And I think to myself, I miss when I used to be carefree like that because I don't go out as much anymore. So I live in the country now. When I say country, I'm in country, all right? Dirt road, cows, horses. So I tell myself, go out, like find a reason to just dress up for just you. Go out, wear the dress you want to wear, dress the way you want to dress, get get wild and silly and outrageous with it. You have nobody that you owe an explanation to as to why you want to feel good and look good in whatever you want to dress or be like. So I do struggle with that. I know other women do too. And I think the more we just say, hey, girl, me too. Like, I feel you on that. The more we can start just letting go and be like, hey, let's get together. Let's all dress up. Let's do something fun and look good and feel good and smell good too.
So I agree with you. I agree with you that we all have our struggles. We all have our moments where we compare ourselves to another woman and we're like, "Oh man, I want that body." And I know I've seen some women that I'm like their figure is like the way that I would love my figure to be. Um but I catch myself because if I continue to dwell on that type of feeling, feeling envious or feeling like they're better than me, then I'm taking away from myself. And so I've learned that though, right? Like before when I was younger, I was always comparing myself. I was always saying, "Oh, you look like this or you whatever," right? And I compare myself to my own self, to my own 20-year-old self. I'm like, "Why are you not your 20-year-old self?" So I do compare myself to that too. However, I'm also learning to embrace me in the moment and me in the now. And so when the thought comes in where I'm saying, wow, she's so beautiful. Her hair is so shiny. Her hair, her clothes are amazing and she has this amazing, physique. I'll say it for a moment. I'll say, yeah, go girl, you go on with your bad self, and then I'll take it back to me and say, you know what? Good job. You're fine. You're good. Because eventually we will all be old and gray and like stooping down. I'm hoping not stooping down, but maybe stooping down. And that's another chapter in my life, right? So what I'm learning to do now is just be in my own lane, be in my own space, be mindful of the things that I say, about myself, comparing myself to another woman, because those moments are going to come. They're going to come my way, and because there are beautiful people out there, and there are, women that have a better body than me. But I'm going to tell you what helps is one, I'm mindful of the thoughts that come out, right, of my mind, but I also remember my husband, and my husband is always telling me like, "You're beautiful just the way you are. Like, you don't need to change. I love your body. I love your, like he doesn't even want me to wear makeup. He's like, "You just look perfect. Like, you don't have to do anything." So I love that because I don't have to I don't have to like be a certain way in front of him and he just accepts me for me, which I love.
I love that women, as we grow into our own wisdom, that can happen at any time in your life, but we start to have these real conversations with each other. And what I have noticed about myself as I've grown is I'm starting to have conversations with my friends and say, what are you doing? What are you using? Like, do you have any suggestions for me? Because we're all kind of in the same ocean. We're all trying to figure it out when it comes to fashion and beauty. We're trying to figure out how to make our hair, skin, and nails better, our bodies better, what looks good on our physique, how to feel more confident. So I love that we're starting to have these conversations openly, because it does the struggle with comparison, it does bring it down. It does kind of dissipate it, and it helps us say, hey, you're feeling it, I'm feeling it, but we're going to get through this together. We're going to learn together. We're going to grow together, which is so amazing, because as sisters, as sisterhood, that's what you want. You want to say, girl, I see you. Let me help you out in this area. I don't know much, but this is what I'm doing. And you could try it or not try it, but it's working for me.
Love the sisterhood. I love that in this space and on the Facebook page. Nothing.
Sexy, successful, and soul fed.
Yes, please go check it out. If you are not on the Facebook page, please go check it out because it's a space where women are authentic, they're being transparent, they're sharing their struggles and they're sharing fun stuff and I love that. And Helen, thank you for creating that because it's an open space for us to just be. And I love it. And I love that we are encouraging women to support each other because I know there was a time, and there still may be a time, and I don't see it, but there's still maybe a time where women are in competition. And I love that in that space, sexy, successful, and soul fed, we are not competing with each other. We're actually uplifting each other. And I love that we can just have these conversations about beauty, about, I talked to another woman about menopause. Gretchen, Dr. Gretchen. We were talking about menopause and all the things that we may be experiencing. And I just love that we were very open about it and transparent. And she was sharing her experiences. I was sharing mine. And it's awesome. So I love that we're having this conversation and I just hope that more women will come to the table and just share more, about what are your tips and tricks on beauty and what do you do for your face? I know at one point I was using egg whites. Was it egg whites? Or egg yolks. I was using one of those two, and that was like my mask. And it's great, and I'm sure a lot of people use other things like avocado mask, right? So we'd love to hear your side.
Okay. So I have a really fun game, another one for you. All right. January, truth or dare?
Mm, dare. No, truth. I'll do truth.
Girl, you can't back out. Come
Okay,
on.
I'll do dare. I'll do dare. Let's go.
Okay. I dare you to make time this week to have a face mask or a facial.
Ooh, that's a really great dare. Shoot, what was the truth? I want to know what that was now. I'll totally do it and I'll post it. I'll post it so I'm accountable. I will do it.
Facial or face mask. All right. So if you're out there and you chose dare, also if your answer was dare, facial or face mask, one time this week. All right.
Awesome.
You want to know the truth or
Yeah,
you
I
can't
do want to
handle
know
the truth?
the
Okay. My question is this. Have you ever dyed your hair? And if you have, what is the most outrageous hair color you've dyed it to?
That's a good question. I actually haven't. Oh, blonde. I guess for me it was blonde. So there was it's dyed right now, but there was one time where it was like extra blonde. And for me, I'm the just do highlights, and just do like honeycombs, and nothing like crazy. Um but I love my sister. My sister is so brave. She does all sorts of colors. And comparing, right? And I'm not comparing. I'm empowering her, like good for her. Good for her for doing that. I just am not ready, I guess, to try like the pink and the yellows and the, mermaid colors. Maybe not yet. Maybe when I'm older. I'm not too sure. What about you? What is the craziest color that you've dyed your hair?
Okay, I'm gonna say blonde also, but I was in high school where I was like in ninth grade, sort of. I say sort of because I jumped schools a lot and they were always trying to put me back. I was a really bad child. Uh, no, not bad. I was a rebel. Okay. I did something really bad to my hair back in the day because all the girls I knew who were doing it, the way we used to dye our hair was we'd put peroxide in it and it really messed up my hair. And my hair didn't come out blonde, it came out orange, like orange blonde. Oh, it was a catastrophe. I was so mad at myself. And I am not the only person who did it. My sister Mitzi did it too. God bless our hearts. We didn't know better. So my dad had like two girls walking around with like this funny clown hair, this clown orange hair, and we just thought we were the shit. We weren't, but we were in a way. So that's the one hair color I regretted. But let me tell you something. A fun fact about me. I love wearing wigs. So my alter ego, Atali Demora, if you read my book, Nothing Sexier Than Freedom, you will know I have an alter ego. Her name is Atali Demora. She's very into her sexuality, very sensual, very confident, but she's daring. And I haven't really seen her in a while. I should probably bring her back every now and then, but she loves wearing wigs. So I have worn long wigs, short wigs, colorful wigs, and I've gone out to dinner with my heels on. And I love that because you don't have to dye your hair. You could just wear whatever you want and feel a certain way. So that's a little fun fact.
Oh, I love that fun fact. I would love to have an alter ego myself just for fun. So maybe I'll create her and wear wigs. I do love wearing wigs. I have a couple of them, but they're like short and I think I have like a curly one. But yeah, I love wigs. So I love that we can just buy a color one without dyeing our hair and ruining it. And I did mention yesterday, I'm like, oh, I'm taking these supplements now to help like with the shine and the thickness, and I can tell it's working. So that's another like beauty
I would
thing.
love to know more about those supplements that you're taking, and maybe you can share a little bit and maybe also message me the link because if it's working. But I wanted to share something because you mentioned your sister, and I want to give a shout out to my sisters because one of the things I love about what they do is they take care of their nails. My sister Kathy has nails that just grow and they're so beautiful. My sister Melissa takes care of her nails and she's a massage therapist. And my sister Mitzi goes and gets her nails done all the time. And I really believe she got that from my mom. And a really cool thing about my mom worked on, and when I say work, she was very into labor love for her ranch. She had 40 acres. She had horses, chickens, goats, ducks, you name it, right? She had it. And she was also building her own earthship house. Would an earthship is it's a house made out of tires, so you'd pack dirt in it. So she used the sledgehammer. She was doing a lot, but she still went and got her nails done. And if that's like the only thing my mom did, which it isn't, she also took care of her skin with moisturizer. But keeping her nails up made her feel so good about herself. And that's one thing that I'm like, I love. And I don't necessarily like acrylic nails. I don't like the way they feel. But shout out to Rachel Henderson in Casper, Wyoming. She brought me on to the idea of Color Street nails, which are just sticker nails. And I have been obsessed with those, and I use those nonstop. And they also help your nails grow. So if you have brittle nails and you're looking for something that looks good, but also helps your nails grow and become healthy, Color Street is, I recommend Color Street.
So I love that you mentioned your sisters, and that how they love, taking care of their nails. My sister loved, doing her hair in different colors. She actually has a natural color now, but what I love about all of my sisters is they have a really high sense of fashion, and when I see them, I'm like, oh, that's a really nice piece that they put together, and um, so I admire that, and I actually try to emulate it. I'm like, oh, okay, let me see if I could, do what they're doing. So I appreciate that. My mom is a fashionista, so she's 73, but when you look at her and how she dresses, she does not look like she's 73. She looks amazing at her age. And she also takes care of her skin, oil of Olay, like I mentioned. That's one of her routines, but definitely like moisturizer. And as far as my nails, I just did my nails. I think this is the one thing because we're always on Zoom, Helen. I'm on Zoom meetings, and to have like janky nails, oh, that's just so it's embarrassing because if I have to like lift my hands up and I'm like, oh, let me put it down, if they're not done. So now they're done. Yay, they look nice. I would love to do it on my own, to save money, but I just cannot. And I don't like acrylics either, so I'm like, go ahead, get it done. And it's nice. It feels good to have somebody do your nails and you just relax there. I think I was having a meeting actually when I was getting my nails done.
I love this subject of beauty and fashion. It makes me want to step up my game in the area of beauty and fashion, not like a lot and not go out and start spending like a big giant amount of money, but really just take it up a notch and just maybe bring back my alter ego, maybe buy a wig and wear it, maybe wear a crazy color on my nails that I otherwise wouldn't have, thought to wear, or I'm too scared to wear, or I'm afraid what other people think. Maybe get a really flowy dress, do something that's just out of my norm, but that I also crave and desire to try. And I think that should be something we should put a task on ourselves. So to January, to me, to all my audience listening, this is your second dare. I dare us to be brave enough and bold enough to step into just taking it up a notch. Try something new, even if it's one thing for the remainder of this year. Let's make 2024 our bitch, okay? And do something fun and fantastic for us. So, let's feel the struggle and make moves anyways.
I love it. I love that you're challenging us to do a facial and to create maybe our alter ego or even just something that makes us feel good. I think we get so wrapped up in the mundane and the everyday life, and we don't spice it up a bit. So I love that you're encouraging us to spice it up. It's so important. Our life is short and the time just progresses so fast. I mean, we're like mid-August, right? We're like towards the end of August. I'm like, wow, I feel like August just started. So yes, I'm going to do and take a picture. Take a picture and post it.
Post it in our Sexy, Successful, and Soul Fed group. In fact, we'll make a challenge and we'll post it up and share it with all of our members. So if you're not a member, be there. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. It's been phenomenal, January. Where can people find you?
You can find me januaryliddell.com. I'm also on Facebook, Anchored Financial LLC, along with Instagram, Anchored Financial LLC. I have a book called Alina the Super Saver. You can find me on Facebook, Alina the Honeymaker, and also on Instagram, Alina the Honeymaker. And Alina the Super Saver is on Amazon, so please buy my book there. Thank you so much. And how can we find you, Helen?
All right. Yes, you can get your copy of my best-selling book, rated R and X for adult language, Nothing Sexier Than Freedom. It is available on Amazon and Audible. You can find me, Hell of a Journey with 1L, on Instagram. There's my book. January's holding it up. You can also find me on Sexy Freedom Media. In fact, if you Google me, you'll find all my wild and crazy shenanigans. So yes, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you. Please text us a review, leave us a review on iTunes or a star review on Spotify. And don't forget to share this with your friends. Ahia.
Aloha.
Want to hear more?
Visit us at sexyfreedommedia.com.